In this video, part one of a 4-part series, we're going to be going down and ranking each and every primary from Star Wars Shatterpoint after the big meta-defining changes that happened at the beginning of May. Hey guys, Rich from Rich Big Gaming. Hope everyone is doing fantastic. Well, welcome to this, a Star Wars Shatterpoint video. And it is fair to say that I am well and truly back on the Star Wars bandwagon. We've got a really nice event that we're running at the moment, slightly different. It's in league format. I'll tell you a little bit more about it at the end of the video, how you can enter it and how you can win yourself a really nice prize if you are the overall winner. But we are here today to talk about primaries. Obviously, one of the first things, if not the first thing, that you are choosing when you are building your squads and strike teams within Star Wars Shatterpoint. And it's been a minute since we've taken a look at these individually and gone through and looked at the attributes of each, where they're good, where they're bad, and ranked them. So I am solo on this one today, but the way these videos are going to work is I've broken each of the primaries down into 4 categories. In this video, we're going to be starting off with all of the Galactic Republic, with the exception of one character who will be getting covered in his rightful place. And then basically across the next 3 videos after this one, we're going to be going through and taking a look at the Rebels. We'll be taking a look at the Galactic Empire. And then we've also got the Separatists, plus some friends in there as well, right? Some ones that didn't sort of have enough in there to make up their own video. But the way we're going to be ranking it is it will be a full series and they will all be interconnected. So whilst we're breaking it down into different factions or affiliations, there will be one overall tier list that we continue through on. So you may see things go up and come down depending on where other people get placed from other affiliations. Now, how are we going to do this? Well, there's going to be a few different things that I am looking at. And I'm not going to be looking at these characters in isolation. We've done that in the past, and I think really you have to look at these characters with, you know, what it is they do themselves. So what can this character do during their own activation? Are they impactful on their own activation? You know, can they, you know, do they have the ability to secure 2 points? Have they got the ability to, you know, wound a couple of characters? Can they displace people? But also then what they can do outside of their activation, right? Whether this is an identity that they have, whether they can move people around, whether they've got reactive abilities. Units that have got access, units they have access to and synergize with. So this is kind of expanding it out a little bit, right? So, you know, if I give an example of, I don't know, I can't think of Mother Talzin, for example, right? Or any of the Dathomir. Well, they've got access to the Night Sisters. The Night Sisters have access to Coordinated Fire Expose, one of the very, very few in the game now that's on more than one character. So that's actually a big benefit for her. So she'll get bumped up slightly because, you know, you're probably going to be playing Night Sisters when you are playing Mother Talzin. Their downfalls, but also their reliability on others. Are these self-sufficient characters that can slot in anywhere? Or do they need to be part of a wider team? Does Anakin need to have a Rex or a Padawan Ahsoka Tano to be able to move him up the board so he can then move and make his first attack during that first activation? And then lastly, but the one that I'm going to pay the least attention to, will be the win and loss rates over the past month or so. Always take these with a pinch of salt because, you know, really people are still finding their feet with each of these new changes. We've got, you know, the new map that people are still sort of getting used to as well. So take these with a little pinch of salt. You know, there's not a huge amount of data on it at the moment, but it should give us an indication as to how good they potentially are, but it won't be an overriding factor. Okay, so here is our tier list, S all the way through down to D, standard tier list. So what do each of the categories mean, and what do characters need to do to get into there? Well, to be S tier, they really need to be the sort of, and I hate to use the word, but sort of quote unquote meta pick for their given affiliation. But more than that, they need to be an exceptionally good character. They need to be doing things inside their activation, outside of their activation. They need to be able to have a really big impact on the game, and they need to be able to take a squad and strike teams with them that are good so they can win games. So they really need to be the absolute best of the best. A tier are going to be very good. Okay, they're going to be very, very good, but they may not be the very first pick. It might be that they're the second pick, right, in a given affiliation, but they still have all of that other goodness around them that we spoke about. B tier is going to be a very solid primary, but they may be lacking in one or two areas, right? They may not have their best affiliation at the moment. They might be waiting for a release. Some of the changes may have hurt them a little bit. They might be, less of an all-rounder and not as good on one map as another. But, B tier is still going to be perfectly fine, perfectly serviceable. C tier, we're getting into that category now of characters that are a little bit lacking. Again, it may not be the actual character themselves or just the character themselves, but they may have had a change to a support unit that's really, really hurt them, that was part of their kit. And that's really, really going to hurt them and is going to, knock them down the pecking order a little bit. But there is a glimmer of hope for them, right? If, outside of their card being changed, they have a good enough package that if, a new support gets released or a new secondary gets released that they can work with and synergize with, they could go straight up. It could also be when you're in the C's and even in the B's to some extent, that there is another character with the same name, whether it's another primary character or indeed a secondary or a support character that shares a name, and that other character is just so good that there's really no reason to take said character because the support version or the secondary version of them is just so good in their given affiliation that why would you ever take them? And then lastly is going to be D tier. These guys just need a lot of help, right? It's not just about outside influence that could boost them back up, just their kit is not good enough, and right now are probably characters that you probably want to consider avoiding. So with all that said and done, let's jump over and take a look at our first character. And remember, we are going through the Galactic Republic characters in this list. So let's start off and let's take a look at Ahsoka Tano, Jedi No More. Really interesting character. 8 squad points, brings 3 force with her. Very, very fast, right? 1 force for a 4 speed, which is an advance. Reposition would be really, really nice on this, but hey ho, it is what it is. What's the matter? Too fast for you when a character in this unit would suffer damage from a melee attack. This unit may use this ability. This unit suffers half the damage in the pool. The attacking unit suffers the remaining damage. This is absolutely crazy. This makes you really have to consider whether or not you want to attack Ahsoka Tano or not. She's got deflect, standard stuff. You'll find I have many qualities for you to dislike. While this unit is not wounded, characters in this unit and allied characters within 2 add 1 expertise to their defense rolls. So it pretty much means that off the bat, whichever stance she's in, she's going to be getting at least 1 block and at least 1 crit to hit, or crit to strike, sorry. Crit to strike, there we go. I did get picked up on that, but a crit to strike. So it just gives us some additional survivability, which is really nice. And then Fierce Protector. When another allied unit is wounded by an enemy attack, after the effect is resolved, choose a character in this unit. The chosen character may triple heal. So this has changed around now. We went through it in the video, but triple heal. Then the chosen character may advance or jump and then make a melee attack targeting the enemy character that caused this effect. Some really nice changes to this. It used to be a 5 dice attack. The heals used to be afterwards. This means now if she's pinned, you can heal her first. You know, she's got pin and disarm. Great, get rid of that. And then she can make the advance, because in the past, if she was pinned, she couldn't do it because the advance was a prerequisite, or the advance or the jump, should I say. 9 stamina, 3 durability, so fairly standard for, you know, for somebody bringing 8 squad points. She has got really nice damage output on Jarkai. Really nice damage output. 6 damage on 3 results, which is really good with, you know, with 7 dice. And then a more defensive stance, the Form 5 Shien Reverse Grip. Only 6 dice, but she does bump up to 6 on both of her defenses. But this is where you've got really nice early access to shoves. So being able to shove people off that point, which is obviously really important, really important. She does have as well on that Form 5 Shien Reverse Grip, she does have access to a very early jump, needing just 2 expertise on there, which, you know, I think is pretty darn good. So if you do get pushed off a point, she can just jump back on there. Now, this is where Ahsoka is interesting, because she is a Force user, right? Which is, I believe, still only a detriment in this game. But she's Galactic Republic. But if you actually look at her card, nothing she does is reliant on Galactic Republic. So she can be a benefactor from Galactic Republic characters. So a Rex can move up the board, or, you know, she can get a coordinated fire in there for some clone troopers. But actually, if you look at her Fierce Protector and everything else she does, she's a fairly selfish character in the fact that she doesn't have any other synergy with anybody else from Galactic Republic. Now, that makes her very versatile. So it means that if you've got one particular leader, primary story that you want to take, and you're struggling to like go, well, I don't really have a second one who I can put in there, Ahsoka Tano is a great option for that. Now, I don't think she's particularly good in Galactic Republic, and there's a number of reasons for that. The main 2 I would say is that lack of synergy. First of all, she doesn't move other people around. There are much better Jedi that you can take. And lastly is the fact that there is another version of Ahsoka that I think is up there in contention for being one of the best secondaries. You know, sort of her and Rex do very similar things and can really help characters get up and around the board. So overall, guys, very good package. I think she's in a really good spot. I think you're going to see her played quite a lot, if I'm being brutally honest. And for this one, she is going to go straight into that A tier. I think she's an absolutely solid choice. And I think, you know, maybe not inside Galactic Republic itself, but outside of Galactic Republic, you can build some really interesting lists with her. You know, you can put her into, you know, Mandalorians, for example. You can put her into even some Separatist lists, right? You can put her in there as well and get that double synergy with a Dooku or something like that. So, yeah, really nice character, really good kit. Does a lot during her turn and then has that reactive ability outside of her turn. Very flexible, very versatile. 2 thumbs up for Ahsoka Tano. Okay, let's take a look at Clone Sergeant Hunter. Fair to say a character that was very good, but has now, I would say, gone down the pecking order a little bit, purely because of the fact, or not purely because, but, you know, because we've lost ARF troopers. I think that's really hurt I think that's really hurt Hunter. They don't have that absolute stomping power that they used to have before, but there is still some really, really nice things going on there. You know, with Clone Sergeant Hunter, he wants his Bad Batch around him, okay? He's Bad Batch, Clone Trooper, Galactic Republic, and a Scoundrel. So he's got some really nice tags that you can sort of go outside of the normal with. Leader of the Batch, but this is where you really want those clone troopers in there. When an allied clone trooper character makes an attack as part of a combat action, it may change one failure result to a strike. If the character is Bad Batch, it may instead change one fail to a strike or an expertise. So dice manipulation, really, really nice, helps you get over the line and get that extra success through that you need to be able to do whatever it is you need to do, right? Get that double shove or actually wound a character. His stock has gone down. I still think Wrecker and Omega are very good. There's a really nice list you can build where you take Wolf as these other secondary for whatever you take in the other group. You could take Jedi along with him as well. I think we're really going to see Hunter shine when we get the Delta Squad pack, because that will be another squad pack that is entirely made up of clones, both primary and secondary and support, meaning that more people on the battlefield are going to be able to benefit from Leader of the Batch. So I think Hunter has taken a little bit of a hit. He does have some really good stuff going for him. I would say watch this space with Hunter. For me right now, I'm going to put him into B tier. I think he'll probably end up, sort of high, mid B, I think is around about right. He can still do really good work. I played a game against him not long ago, a couple of days back, and he can still do really, really good work. But he is lacking a little bit at the moment. And, he lost something, and a lot of other characters have gone up in stock and up in value. So that just means that by proxy, his value and stock goes down ever so slightly. On to General Anakin Skywalker next. Maybe the single biggest benefactor of the changes that we've had. And it's fair to say that I think Anakin has displaced Hunter, displaced Darth Vader from the top of the tree when it comes to Galactic Republic primaries. And there's a couple of different reasons for this. We did the full breakdown video, but 7 squad points. Okay, yes, he's lost ARF Troopers. He hasn't lost ARF Troopers. ARF Troopers still exist. But 501st got a really nice boost. So you can take 501st now with Anakin. I think they're probably the first choice to take with him. He's got access to some great secondaries. Rex and Ahsoka, to name but 2. This is where the fun begins. Had a slight tweak and a slight change, meaning now that it's more impactful than it was. I'm going to end this is now another full attack, but he can change his stance and it doesn't have to be against the same character. So this is somebody who can very, very potentially wound 2 characters in a single activation. His damage output is immense. He now has a ranged attack as well. 11 stamina, 3 durability. He's bringing 4 force and he's refreshing it because, realistically, you probably want to be spending 2 force with Anakin every turn because I am going to end this is just so good. But he's going to be able to refresh at least one of those force if he wounds somebody. Each time a character in this unit wounds an enemy unit, after the effect resolved, refresh 1 force. So you can murder somebody, refresh a force. I'm going to end this for 2 and refresh another force, and you've effectively got it for free, which is crazy, crazy good. He also does so much for the rest of his team as well. So if it wounded one or more secondary or primary units during that affiliation, each Galactic Republic secondary and supporting character may dash. Like, it's crazy good. He's very impactful. The one thing I will say with Anakin, which I think is his only downside, it's his only downside, is he is dice dependent, okay? Everything Anakin does, he is dice dependent. So whereas some of the characters can guarantee taking a point by doing a force push or doing whatever, if you make your first attack and whiff, and then you pay 2 and whiff again, that's a really, really bad turn with Anakin. And that is going to be, I think, both the controversial reason and is it? It is. It's going to... I'm in two minds because he is so dice dependent. In my head, I'm thinking, does he go in A? But at the very, very top of A, or is he going to be in S? I still think he makes it into S tier, but I think he's going to be at the bottom end of S tier. I do think Anakin is probably your number one choice now for primaries in Galactic Republic. I think he just does so much during his turn and during his activation that can't be ignored. And then everybody else getting a dash off the back end of it is just too good. He can win games single-handedly, and for a primary to be able to do that is just really, really good. Okay, next up, let's take a look at General Obi-Wan Kenobi. What can we say about Obi-Wan? Well, I think he's fine. Like, he's good. Fine to good. Hello there's really nice. So uncivilized. It'd be nice if it was 0 cost, but it went up. Right? That would be quite nice. Patience. His two big things are patience and knowledge and defense. So patience, when you reveal this unit's order card, if you have an order card in reserve, you may put that card on the bottom or top of your deck. If you do, put this unit's order card in reserve. You don't have to pay for it. When this unit's order card is put in reserve, one character in this unit may triple heal and jump. So the idea is that you've got somebody in reserve, you draw Obi-Wan, especially early doors, you draw Obi-Wan, you put Obi-Wan in reserve. You can then take that reserve character, choose if it goes at the top or the bottom of your deck. So am I going to pull it next or am I going to pull it last? So knowing where a card is in your deck can be really important. But then he gets a triple heal and jump. Knowledge and defense, this is with the hunkers. If people have got hunkers after they've been attacked, they can spend them. They can also retain their hunkers when they're engaged, and they can add more in, and they actually add dice to their melee attacks, to their melee defense rolls as well if they have one or more hunkers. It's really, really nice. I think he is a more than viable option. I just think there are at least one, if not two, maybe three that are better than Obi-Wan at the moment with that side of it. What Obi-Wan lacks is the impact during his turn. Okay. He's, for a double shove, he's looking at 3 results, and he doesn't have the best offensive expertise. He doesn't have the best defensive expertise. In fact, it's pretty damn bad if we're being brutally honest. If you haven't used Hello There, which is going to cost a force, he's at 5 dice on his Sorasu, 7 dice on his Ataru. His card is great. If his stance card was just a little bit better, I think we'd be having a very, very different conversation about Obi-Wan. But unfortunately, his stance card really lets him down, meaning that he's just not that impactful during his turn. I'm actually going to put him I'm actually going to put him below Hunter. And the reason I'm putting him below Hunter is whilst he's still viable in sort of a, lightsaber focused or a Jedi focused list, but you really want you really want to take the clones with you as well for Galactic Republic. There's so many ahead of him, and I don't see how a new release would help Obi-Wan, right? A new release could really help Hunter, but right now I don't see how a new release helps him. The only thing that helps him, I think, is he needs his stance card sorting out a little bit. I think knowledge and defense does so much that they kind of had to temper it with his card or with his stance cards. But unfortunately, it does mean that he is a little bit lackluster during his activation. And if you're activating a primary, right, these are the types of characters that you go, Shatterpoint, primary, away we go. I just don't feel like you really have a Shatterpoint in Obi-Wan. Maybe that's a barometer. Is this primary Shatterpoint worthy? So yeah, he is going to go in B tier, and he is going to go. I think you're going to see him going down towards the bottom end of that B tier. Sorry, I've just realised I didn't change that there, but you can see where he is. Okay, let's move on to another lightsaber wielding primary. It is Jedi Master Ki-Adi-Mundi. Another 8 squad points, which is really nice for building. Again, brings 3 force. Oh boy, this guy does a lot. He does a lot. 10 stamina, which is always nice. Wise Counsel at the start of this unit's activation. Choose another allied Galactic Republic unit. Each character in the chosen unit may dash. Then, if the chosen unit was a Jedi, one character in this unit may also dash. So you can pick Anakin, okay? This is really what we're talking about here. Ki-Adi-Mundi and Anakin. Getting Anakin up the board. Really, really nice. Force push, okay? We know what force push does. It is a guaranteed point in most situations. Sometimes the ability to influence 2 points as well. Force enhanced reflexes. This is fine. Like, again, it's one that I really wish you could either pay after the fact, or it would be a 0 cost and it went up to 1, but that's fine. Well, let's take a look at his Guardians of the Republic. When an allied Galactic Republic character wounds an enemy unit, after the effect is resolved, choose an allied Jedi. One character in the chosen unit may heal, then dash. Now that by itself is really nice, right? A heal and a dash is really, really nice, especially because the heal's first. It means that if you've got a pin, you're always going to get to do that. Pin strain. Pin strain is a horrible combination. This is a really, really good way of being able to get around that, because you heal the strain and then you dash to get rid of the pin, which is, really nice. But additionally, once per turn, when an allied Jedi unit uses an active or reactive ability, if it is within 3 of a wounded allied unit, reduce the cost of that ability by 1. This can be exceptionally good. Now, it's not going to be triggering all the time. You're going to have lost some characters or had some characters wounded. It will happen during a game. But just being able to sort of pull that out the bag and position yourself, right? Because you know this beforehand. Before you activate Anakin, you know where your wounded characters are, and it can influence where you go towards. So yeah, really, really like this. And obviously, Force user Galactic Republic Jedi tags. He's also no slouch during his turn as well. His Form 2 Makashi. One success giving a reposition is not to be sniffed at in any way, shape or form. He's got access to an expose on 3. He's got double shove on 3 as well. And you say, okay, well, you said that, Obi-Wan had, double shove on 3, but look at his lightsaber versus Obi-Wan's, right? His expertise is much, much better. Also, duelist training, Really, really good defensive expertise. Lacking on the ranged front, okay, that is going to be, or can be, a little bit of a problem for him, only having 4 ranged on this side. Goes up to 5, but loses 1 on his Form 5 Shien as well. Goes to 8 dice on Shien, but he's just getting strikes. He's not getting any of those crits. But he does have, this is a bit more of his utility, right? On 4 results, he's going to be able to get that free force push, which can be really nice. I mean, and also look what the guy can do, right? He can heal for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you get 5 results, you can heal 8 and get a free force push and a shove and do a couple of damage in there at the same time. So really like Ki-Adi-Mundi. For me, I think he would be my second choice for Galactic Republic. I don't think he does enough to get into that S tier. I think that S tier is probably going to be exclusively only one from a given affiliation can get in there, because that's kind of the pick. But he is going to go in, and he's going to go above Ahsoka Tano. I think he's just very, very good, does a lot of work. And you're going to see him played a lot, I think. Okay, next up, we've got another Jedi Master in our midst. It is Jedi Master Kit Fisto. Another 8 squad points, 3 force, 10 stamina, 3 durability. That's kind of a bog standard stat line, I think, for most primaries at 8 squad points. 4 speed, which is really nice. Riposte costing nothing is also nice. Supporting fire dash is interesting. The problem I have with this is the timing issue and the fact that you can only use 1 per. And dash is fine. Like, if you need to get onto a point, then dash can be really, really useful. But the coverage that you get with clones, for example, when you've got 2 of them on the board, is far, far greater than what you're going to get with supporting fire. Also, it's really interesting, it's called supporting fire, and you'll notice that he does not have a ranged attack, so I'm not entirely sure how he's supporting this attack with fire. But yeah, like, don't get me wrong, it's fine. I'd have just rather seen something else on there, right? If we look at other primaries in the game that have their own, or look at individual characters that have their own quote-unquote coordinated fire, there are characters out there with expose, which is obviously the most impactful. So yeah, I think it's fine. I'm afraid I must request your surrender. While this unit's active stance is Form Shi-Cho, Form 1 Shi-Cho, characters in this unit have steadfast and add expertise to their defense rolls. While this form is Form 4 Ataru, characters in this unit have protection and immunity pin. And then additionally, when a character in this unit would advance, it may instead reposition. He's aquatic, so that's a thing. Now, if we had terrain on this board that had different statuses, then, that works. Maybe some of the new separatists, right, are going to have an advantage over them, or maybe he will have an advantage over them. But he's a Force user, Galactic Republic, and Jedi. Now, I don't know what it is with Kit Fisto for me, but I just don't see where. I'm just looking now, and I want to just see if I'm being mad and there's something I'm missing with it. I haven't done this on the others yet, because I was, had my own real opinions of him. But I'm just looking at what his win rate is. Okay, there we go. I have found him. So he's got a 47% win rate, right? Not played very often. I'm just having a look at what he comes up against and how good he is. What's he good against? So Cad Bane looks like he's really bad against Galactic Republic. Doesn't do well against Rebels. Doesn't seem to do well in mirror matches either. Pairing him with Vader apparently used to be a thing. Quite a lot of people pairing him with Anakin as well, pairing him with Obi-Wan. But yeah, I just don't see it. Now I know that some of the other guys rate him really highly. And he does have a couple of things, right? Let's take a look at his actual stance cards. Form 1 Shicho, pretty decent damage output, right? Double shove. Okay. Double shove on 2 is exceptionally good. But I don't like his brackets, okay? 1 expertise gets you 1 result. 2 expertise gets you 2 crits and a strike, which is really good. But if you roll 4 expertise, it feels really bad. He's got a little bit of dice manipulation on Form 4 Ataru, but it's only to strikes, not to fails. Does have an expose on 1. It's got a jump on 1. I mean, yeah, maybe there is something there. I do still think there are better options. For me personally, I think there are better options out there. It's a very selfish leadership as well, and I think what you're looking for with Galactic Republic is some really good synergy. And yeah, I'm not sure this is it. Where am I going to put him? I think he's perfectly fine, perfectly serviceable. He does more. So this is the thing, right? He does less for the team, but he does less for the team than Obi-Wan, but he does significantly more during his own activation than Obi-Wan. So I would say he is very Shatterpointable, right? We're gonna coin that phrase. He is Shatterpointable, and because of that, I think he can be quite high impact. His trees are pretty good. His dice pulls are quite nice. So yeah, okay. We're going to put him in at the top end of B tier. I think that's about right. I think that feels about right. He's nowhere near the Ki-Adi-Mundi of the world. I don't think he's as versatile as Ahsoka is. He's also a little bit... Is he? I'm just having a quick look. I mean, the only synergy piece is the supporting fire, right? That's the only synergy piece in there. So, you could play him a little bit like an Ahsoka and take him other places, but Ahsoka exists and is probably better, I would say. So, yeah, I feel like I'm happy there with a reasonably high B for the moment. Okay. Let's move on to another Jedi Master. Who'd have thunk it in Galactic Republic? This is Jedi Master Luminara Unduli. Luminara is a really interesting one. Like, you look at a card and go, oh my God, she can do a full recovery. Choose an allied unit within 3. Remove all damage and all conditions. Like, it's crazy good. But it costs 2, okay? It costs 2. Sprint is a dash that costs 1. Like, that is brutal. I think if you're paying for a out-of-action movement or a non-action based movement, it needs to be better than a dash, right? It needs to be a dash with something, right? You dash and focus, or you dash and get a hunker, or you can reposition, or... something, right? Something better than this. If it's just a dash, I feel like this needs to be a tactic. And that's a big downside for me. 8 squad points, 3 stamina, 9 durability, 9 stamina, 3 durability. So yeah, I mean, it's fine. Precise strike. After this unit makes a combat action, it may use this ability to choose an allied Galactic Republic supporting character within 3 of a character in this unit. If the chosen unit's order card is in the order deck, each character in that unit may dash. If the chosen unit's order card is not in the order deck, one character in the chosen unit may make a 5 dice attack. So it's nice. Like, it's a nice opening gambit potentially, But again, it costs a force, and there are lots of things that you want to be using force for in Galactic Republic, and I'm not sure that's it. What Luminara does have going for her, however, is the flow of the force, her identity. Once per turn, when the enemy unit becomes wounded after the effect is resolved, one allied character may dash. This is not bound to any one particular affiliation. You're not reliant on it being Galactic Republic characters or just supporting characters. Anybody can use it. When an enemy character wounds an allied unit after the effect is resolved, a character in another allied unit may triple heal. So again, that's really nice. She's got something that triggers when you do something and something that triggers when your opponent does something. And then lastly, you may look at the top card of your order deck before revealing an order card or choosing to activate a unit from reserve. Having that knowledge can win games, right? Having that knowledge can win games, but not always, right? It very much depends on who you've got. But that unto itself is a pretty good identity. But the rest of her kit just struggles. Her damage output is not very good. Her defense on Makashi is meh. On Sorasu, it's fine. But on Sorasu, she's doing hardly any damage. She's maxing out at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 damage on there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage on Makashi. She does have access to a reposition on 1, which is, really nice. Double shove on 3, which again is really nice. But her expertise is again a little bit lackluster. One result on lightsaber for a crit and a strike is quite nice. People used to play Luminara. You could see her playing Separatists quite a lot. Which was quite good. I think one of the big things that Luminara is missing from her trees is that action, that free active ability. If she could trigger full recovery for free off the back of, doing an attack, I think she would be in a very, very different position. But unfortunately, she doesn't. I don't think Luminara is in a great spot at the moment. I'm just looking down and then going further down and then going further down. 44% win rate. And again, there's not a huge number of games being played so far, but I think she does go into C tier. I think again, changes around her could increase her viability in the game, I would say. Jedi Master Mace Windu. Is this the last of our... This is not even the last of our Jedi Masters. But Jedi Master Mace Windu. Huge changes for Windu. He went up in a squad point. So he went from bringing 6 to 7, which is a good thing. And he got a boost. So his cost effectively went down because he brings more squad points. And he got a boost. We're not going to go through all the boosts because... there's a lot of them. Look at his Form 7 Vapad damage output. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage that he can push out there with a strain or an expose. He's got a reposition in there. He's really good. He gained a ranged attack, which is pretty darn good with that Force Blast. They're never going to be the greatest attacks in the world, but the fact is range 4. I thought it would be a range 3. Rush to action's really nice. He brings 4 Force, and he's got 11 stamina as well, which is really good. Shatterpoint can now be used on anybody when you activate them with the Shatterpoint. Just means that for play-wise... It just gives you so much flexibility. Yes, Windu is Shatterpointable now, but it means that you do not have to go with him with the Shatterpoint to feel like you're not losing out on things. I really like Windu. I think he's in a very, very good spot. And I think now he's very, very viable. I would even say if you wanted to play something a little bit different, you could play Windu and Ki-Adi-Mundi quite nicely together. But Windu Anakin would work really well as well. There's a few of them up there that I think, you know, can work well together. Overall, I think he is doing more on his turn than he is out of his activation. He effectively has no out of activation abilities other than the fact that, well, this part is over, actually. While a character in this unit is engaged, allied Galactic Republic characters within 5 have steadfast and protection. So he is actually doing quite a bit. He is doing quite a bit. And the Shatterpoint can be used as well. Yeah, I don't think he does enough to get into... These changes are exceptional, by the way, for him. He doesn't do enough to get into S tier. I think that is just reserved for Anakin for Galactic Republic. But he is going to go, and I'm going to put him just behind Ki-Adi-Mundi. I really like Ki-Adi-Mundi. I think he's got just such a great kit and balances really nicely with Anakin. You know, Anakin is very much on the attrition side of the game. He's going to score you points by murdering people. Windu wants to do the same. And I feel like in Shatterpoint, putting all of your eggs in one basket isn't a great way to play the game. Now, if I was playing with 4 squads, right? So we were playing the Premier Showdown event. These 3 Jedi, if I was playing Galactic Republic, 100% what I would be taking. And I'd build a list around each of them and then throw another one in there. Could be a Kit Fisto, or it could be an Obi-Wan or whoever else. But yeah, really, really good character. Okay, on to our final Jedi Master and our penultimate character. It is going to be Jedi Master Plo Koon. Plo Koon's interesting. He can do a lot during his activation. I know if we work together, we will stay alive. At the start of this unit's activation, choose an allied Galactic Republic unit. For each character in the chosen unit, it may dash. Then, if the chosen unit was a trooper or a Padawan, 1 character in this unit may dash. So you're getting 3 characters that can make dashes off the back of his tactic. Remember, to dash, Luminara has to pay 1 force, right? Just gives you an idea. Access to force push. This cannot be underestimated how good this is. In games, we're looking for consistency, and a force push is something that is consistent. He can also trigger it from his tree as well. So you make the attack. If you get lucky, you get to trigger it for free. If not, and you've got the force, you can spend it and do it. His damage output is actually pretty darn good. He's got access to 1 shove on 2 results going through, which is fine. But when a character has a force push, I'm less bothered about the number of shoves that they have access to, because you can just yeet somebody over the other side of the board. He's got a lot of utility, right? He can put pin out there. He can heal. He's got repositions. He's got jumps on his Tenacious Defense on his Gem Sur. And he's got dice manipulation on his Sorasu. Sorasu, a little bit lackluster, right? Only 5 dice is rough. I don't feel like any Jedi should have 5 dice. I don't think that's good enough. And then we've got his identity. We can do this a simple way or the difficult way. While this unit is not wounded, when another allied Galactic Republic character within 3 is targeted by an attack, this unit may gain Expose. If it does, the defending character may use this unit's expertise chart during the attack. Then, if the defending character was a trooper or Padawan, 1 character in this unit may dash towards the attacker. Now, I'm just looking at that, and I'm just thinking about the timings. It is after the attack is resolved. So there is no window of opportunity to use one of the results off the back of the attack that was made, or the defense that was made. I suppose actually if you're pairing him with Obi-Wan, you can do the hunker thing and then potentially get rid of the expos on Plo Koon. Again, I'm in two minds with Plo Koon. His stats actually say that since the game had its changes, he's got a 62% win rate. 62%. Now it's again a very, very small it's a small number of games that we're talking about. Hardly ever played. If I look at the other characters either side of him, 195 games, 234 games. Plo Koon has 34 games. So again, with most games, somebody who's really worked something out, how to use somebody, right, they can get really good reps in with him. I don't think Plo Koon is where it's at the moment. I think he has 5 other Galactic Republic characters that I probably want to play ahead of him. Sorry, Galactic Republic characters that I'm going to play in a traditional Jedi and clone Galactic Republic list. And because of that, I think he's going to be going down into C tier. And I actually think, I'm going to put him above Luminara because just Luminara's kit is just so expensive. Everything he does at the very least, he can do for free, potentially. So yeah, there we go. Oops, again, I messed up. I do apologize. There we go. You can see the tier list now. So yeah, he is going to go into C tier, but at the top end of C tier. But remember, these are all going to get encapsulated into the same list. So we'll have Seps in here, we'll have Rebels in here and everything else. Okay, we are rounding it out with a highlight. Queen Padme Amidala. I just don't know where she fits at the moment in the game, if I'm being brutally honest. She is reliant on Galactic Republic characters. She's reliant on Handmaiden characters. The Handmaidens are fine. The supporting character, I always forget her name. I do apologise. It's pretty darn good. But Amidala, and again, I'm going to look down at her win rate. 32%. Like, there just isn't really a play style for her. And the one thing that she did have was the crack shot. Right, you could bring her as a backline ranged unit. But the problem now is that the problem now is that 212 and Cody just got real good. So do you really need a primary doing that? Yes, she's got access to, double shove on 3. But look at her expertise on that side and look at the number of dice that she's rolling. We've now got 2 new Jedi characters. 2 Jedi characters that have had a rework that now have access to a ranged attack. So what is her role? What does she bring to Galactic Republic or indeed anywhere else? But, she has to be playing Galactic Republic. Her entire identity is Galactic Republic. So if you're not playing Galactic Republic, then why would you ever take Amidala? I think she's in serious need of a rework. This isn't the version of Amidala that we wanted. I would have rather had that secondary version who was was going on the missions. Maybe even a primary unit that was going on those missions as she does during the Clone Wars. And yes, she has to be rescued quite a lot, but, it is what it is. So yeah, unfortunately, guys, we are finishing this video with a D tier. I just don't see where Amidala is, where she's played or anything like that at the moment. And we are going to leave it there for this first part of the video. As I said, in the next video, we are going to be going through probably the Separatists, but with some friends, as you can see there. So we have added in some of the sort of grey coloured characters just to bulk the list out a little bit, because otherwise we'd have been going through, you know, essentially 4 characters who are Separatist. But we're going to add some of these other ones in there as well. As always, guys, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Am I mental? Is Amidala the greatest primary we have ever seen in Star Wars Shatterpoint? I don't think so. Galactic Republic overall, I think, are in a fantastic spot now. I think there's 2 or 3 different play styles that you can go for. And depending on the playstyle that you go for will very much determine who you want to take. If you still love Bad Batch and you want to take your clones, you can do, and it's still going to work. Is it optimal? I would argue not, but it will still work. You know, if you want to go down the more defensive route, right? So you take a Ki-Adi-Mundi with a Obi-Wan, that can also work, you know, quite well, and then put a whole bunch of clones in there, you know, with Rex triggering those hunkers and things like that. Some really, really nice options. Some characters who, you know, especially Anakin and Mace Windu had huge boosts. So all those Mace Windus and Anakins that have been sat gathering dust on your shelves, you can brush them off, give them a spruce up if you need to, and start having some games with them, because Galactic Republic are in a really good spot. Yes, they lost ARF troopers, but with what they lost, they gained a huge amount across the board elsewhere. So I think they're in a really, really good spot. Guys, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me on part 1 of this video. If you could do all the normal things like comment, subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated. And I want to give a big shout out to all of our Patreon members, all of our YouTube members, and everybody who has purchased merch through our store. I am currently designing some brand new merch based around Star Wars Shatterpoint. We've never had Star Wars Shatterpoint merch before, so I'll let you guys know when that's going to be available. Or should I say Shatterpoint inspired merch? There we go. That's the way we've got to do it. Guys, I mentioned at the beginning of the video that we have an event running at the moment. It's an event running from now all the way through to the end of 2025. It's our Dawana Wonga 2025 League. We have limited it to 20 places. The idea is you play every other person once, so up to 19 games. Right now we've got 11 people in there, so it'll be 10 games, but it isn't 1 per week. If you can fit 3 in 1 week and none in the next, that's absolutely fine. You can play them at your leisure on a weekend, on an evening, whenever you need to do. Going on holiday for a week, it doesn't matter. And the overall winner at the end will win themselves a squad box of their choice, irrespective of where they are in the world. And this is something that I want to try and expand out. Okay, so we're starting small in 2025. 26, if people like this, we're going to do it again. And we may even have a league system. Okay, we may even have a League 1 and a League 2, or an Episode 1 or Episode 2, however we do it. But if you do want to be part of that, go and check out the Discord, link down in the description below, and then look for the Dawana Wonga League. Completely free to join, guys, but there is a prize up on offer for the overall winner. Guys, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for your support. Really appreciated. Make sure you do all the usual things. And as always, it leaves me with just enough time to say stay well, keep safe, and in the meantime, may the Force be with you.